Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome in and welcome back. So, cheer up, buttercup. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Cheer up, buttercup. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is an amazing blend with bergamot, orange oil, lime oil, grapefruit oil, and lemon oil. These are all great solar plexus and sacral chakra codes, frequencies, oils, plants. Okay? Everything's codes, frequency, energy. Tapping into the orange and the yellow, there's a lot of divine feminine, sacral energy, sexual, sensual, solar plexus, personal power energy coming in with this divine feminine rising. Okay, check out any other videos. The team did bring in some different codes. I will get that up. All right, but I wanted to show this. They want me to show you this. When I started this journal, it was June 24th. I was looking at my journal from last year, and I started this journal about the same time. So that journal was started on the 21st of 2025, and then I finished that journal last year on the 16th of August. So this journal will, this next one I'll start will take me into the 8/8 portal. But this is the codes that came through. So when I do my journal, I do art, but this one came through on the 24th. Look familiar? Just curious. Does that look familiar? Yeah. I didn't know this was taking place. We left the pool yesterday and we were having a challenging day, and we'll talk about that in this video. I think this is the video for this one. And it was a challenging day. It was a challenging afternoon, needless to say. Me, the kiddo are clearing our own personal contractual stuff at a soul level, but we were doing collective stuff, and he picks up on it and I pick up on it, and it just becomes being mindful. So Source wants me to bring this through to the parents of the awareness, to stay in a state as non-response as possible, very neutral. I'm not saying not have parental boundaries and things like that, but it's very important not to go off the deep end, scream, shout at each other, or drop into fear or anything like that. That's really important because a lot of us are being quote unquote tested, because there's critical masses getting ready to be maximized, or enough of us will be holding a specific vibrational frequency and energy that when we do that, we will activate, and by us activating it becomes like that 100 monkey effect. So it's important not to drop down into fear or to all of those low vibrational frequencies. It's to stay neutral, it's to stay calm, it's to go to your breath, to release that, to do all of the work. And I'll probably give you some tools here if I don't forget. Okay, 3:03 on the timer. So welcome in the source codes. Get outside, have a look, absorb these codes. Yes, this is because of Gaia clearing. There are massive forest fires taking place, which is important. Important. I don't know why I'm saying important. Necessary. So how can you help? Well, you don't post a bunch of social media bullshit and promoting fear, worry, and concern. 333. You get into your 0 point and you send out light codes, frequency, your Care Bear stare of light, love, healing frequencies, protection, and safety for all beings, humans, elementals, earth beings, animals, all of that. The trees, the plants. But this is part of the process. Okay? We're in this massive portal, the 7/7 portal and the 8/8 portal. Lion, Leo energy. It's divine, sacred energy rising. Okay? Eating the solar plexus foods, using oils that will help, but eating things like ginger, limes, lemons, pineapple, mango, orange and yellow foods. I've been making smoothies, orange juice, fruit smoothies based on these frequencies, these energies, and these codes. So I didn't know this was taking place. So going back to the pool, we had a situation where the kiddo is, when he gets frustrated, he will start just hiding things or potentially destroying things. Neurodivergency is part of both of us. It's in our genetics, but it's just, we are highly advanced intergalactic beings. And so there's a lot of things when we're working with this physical vessel, and he's only 13, as a challenge on how to properly express emotion and to release that in a safe way. Well, we were getting ready to go to the pool. For whatever reason, he got really upset. I don't know the why, because he's in it and then he sits in it, or he moves through it, or he forgets. Left or right ear's ringing it. Okay. So we had all of our stuff ready to go to the pool, and we've had moments during our summer where it's 1 to 2 hours where I trigger him or he triggers me. It's more like I trigger him somehow, and it's bouncing back, and it's just having the proper neutral non-reactive response to that, staying in that high vibration, working through it, creating space, allowing for the feeling, the knowing, whatever it is that's coming through. Anyways, we have a new key fob for the pool, and I keep in a specific place. Well, at some point he got frustrated and started hiding a bunch of shit, and we're getting ready to go to the pool and there's no key fob. He's hidden my car keys before, things like that. He's 13, if you're curious. And sources wanting me to share this, the team's wanting me to share this, is you might be experiencing these things with your kids, especially if they're have a challenge communicating their human emotions because they're at such a higher dimensional frequency already. I mean, if you know, you know. All right, there's nothing wrong with these kids. They are here to teach us. All right. I am also somewhere on that. Most of us are. All right. There's nothing wrong with you, but don't promote it. Again, don't give it the I am. This is just, I'm a higher dimensional being. And it's a little more challenging sometimes in this very heavy third density reality. But we're here for a reason, right? We're here for a reason. So we're looking, and I know knows where the key's at, and he's lying to me, which is really neutral because he's outside of school. There's really no other beings around that would be the example of lying, not telling the truth. And so I already know this because I'm highly intuitive, I'm highly psychic, and so is he. So it's just ridiculous at this point. And I know you know where the key is. Why don't we're creating more frustrations? But this is a collective energy that we're picking up, and this is how it's coming through for us personally. And this is not new. We've been experiencing this since he's been home from school. And we're looking in all the places that potentially could be hiding places. And I ended up finding it, and there's still no admittance at certain points. And then now he's shut down. He's frustrated. He's crying. He doesn't know how to express or to share. And I just said, a lying's not cool. We don't do that. I don't scream at him. I don't do any of this stuff. I stay as neutral as possible. I try to keep a calm, neutral energy. But this is lessons for me too. We're working through this together. We're learning through this together. Okay. And, so then he gets neutral. He stops. He freezes. It's like freeze fawn. It's like freeze and fawn. Like freeze and fawn. Right? So we escape. So we know what our sympathetic and parasympathetic, he's in a very sympathetic state, right? Run, hide, numb, freeze, fawn. And now he's not moving forward. And I'm like, I just want to go to the pool. I don't want to be in the house. Typically it takes an hour or two for him to come out of this 817 on the timer, which is 88. Breaks down to 16, which is the sevens. Again, coming back to the sevens. And just at some point I'm like, I'm just going to walk to the pool. Set her stuff up, and he slowly moved on his own. It's not forcing, it's not pushing, but I just said, we're not staying in the house. We're not in the television, no TV, no nothing. And it took about an hour. It took about 40 minutes just to get from the house to the pool, which is literally just a hop, skip, and a jump away. And he stayed outside of the pool gate and just kind of meandered and just paused and did whatever he's working through. And then he finally made it whenever it is an hour later at the pool. So he sat in the chair for another hour. And finally, at some point, and this is zero talking, just checking in to make sure there's nothing that's needed, 9:09 on the timer, and just allowed the space, do my own thing, really silence and no talking, just him just being there in the moment, working through these feelings or whatever. And this whole time, on a telepathic, energetic level, I'm speaking to his higher self. I'm asking that whatever's needing to be cleansed and cleared and released, do the Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I forgive you, thank you, I love you. Telepathically, because anytime I spoke, that would create more tension, more frustration. So I did all this telepathically, but we telepathically communicate. So even if I was just looking at him, it would create more of this freeze and fawn, this anger, this frustration. So a lot of Ho'oponopono, telepathically, energetically. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I forgive you, thank you, I love you. A lot of unspoken energy exchange. And so he finally, after I think a full 2 hours, decided to get in the pool. You know, this whole event started around 12 o'clock. By the time he finally got into the pool, it was around 2 o'clock. And then there were other kids coming in, and he was in and playing and stuff. And then mom's getting really hungry because I planned for a certain amount of food. Smoothies and things like that. And now I'm getting really, this hadn't taken place yet. And then about an hour and a half after that, I'm like, it's time to go. We need to go home and we need to get some food. And it's just, now we spent another 15 or 20 minutes, confirmation, trying to get him out of the pool. And now we're right back into this really frustrated state of back and forth. And so it's just like that firm, not screaming, not shouting, just firm, creating space, but, giving the boundaries. But again, there has to be something there. But again, staying as neutral as possible and constantly releasing what's coming up for me, as well as for what is being we're transmuting a fuck ton of energy. Yesterday was a big day of that. Like, that's just, and I'm aware, because I'm aware I can respond differently. I can handle it differently on an energetic level, a telepathic level, tapping into the guides, his team, his higher self, like all of the stuff, right? From a place of acknowledgement, of wisdom, of compassion, of love, of awareness, and just work at it from that part. Once we finally got home again, I just left, dropped all the stuff, went back, and finally he came back home. And I said, there's no iPad, there's no TV. We're going to get some food. I had to run to the small store down the road to get some food. And I had a quick snack, did that and came back. And probably about an hour or less after that, we were back to a more of a baseline, I guess. Balanced baseline is what's coming through with what had taken place. But there was still a lot of energy that was clearing and purging. And I was just getting this information of, yes, this is your clearing collective energy. You're both picking up on this collective energy because you're able to transmute it. It's like this assistance. We're assisting the collective in a way that you might not understand. And you might be experiencing this as a parent, as a caregiver, as a figure of authority. But instead of screaming, and there was a moment at the pool where I'm like, you need to get out. Like, you need to get out now. This isn't cool. We've been doing this back and forth for 20 or 30 minutes. It is time to go home. We need to eat. It's again staying very boundary based, but like that Queen of Swords, King of Swords energy, staying very neutral, not screaming, not shouting, but being very clear on the situation. Okay, so somebody needs to hear that. And that's kind of how we've been like working through this whole year. Is I don't even know what frequency we're listening to right now. And so I feel like 1303, this is which is a 7, very relevant for some people, and you might not have this understanding. So if this reaches one parent, one caregiver, somebody that's seeing it from the outside, you're going to see a lot of this chaos energy in your family for a lot of reasons. The kiddo and I are on a mission together for sure, but we're also transmuting collective energy. So we're clearing our own shit and we're clearing collective energy. That came through very clear after yesterday was one of the most challenging teaching days, transmuting days that we've had in a long time. So I say that to lead up to this, hopefully we can wrap this up, is when I went to the store, I noticed the atmosphere, the weather, things were changing. And I didn't know what was going on because I don't pay attention to the weather. I don't have that. And someone had posted something on social media. And then I get ready to go into the store and I can see that. I'm like, what's going on? And of course I didn't go to wildfires because this has happened last year and the year before. Correct me if I'm wrong, everything that's taken place around this time between the 7/7 portal and the 8/8 portal, I guarantee there's a fucking pattern. I guarantee it. I haven't looked at it, but I guarantee it. 2024, 25, and 26, there's some type of wildfire event that's taking place that's created this smog, this smoke that comes across. I'm in Michigan, if you're asking, where is she from? I'm in Michigan, mid-Michigan. Okay? That creates that particular event. That event of the sun looking very orange. There's a reason for it. Okay? Beyond a lot of human understanding. Check out patterns. Do you recognize patterns? So I stood up and looked at this. I was like, and I still had no idea what was going on. I'm still working through these energies, right? So that's a great segue into the kiddo and I to break this energy that we were working through. I was to ask about this because he knew about this because he likes the weather stuff. And so that was fascinating I didn't know what this was. But I'm like, bring it, bring the codes. And we get home and we kind of, but it's just learning to work through them as calm, as firm, as grounded and balanced and non-reactive. There's response, but non-reaction, and stay neutral. All right, so I hope that helps somebody. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free. If you want me to maybe talk a little more about that, I can, especially those parents that are also neurodivergent or children that are neurodivergent, all of it. I'd love to maybe go a little deeper if you feel like that's necessary. 16 minutes on the timer, which is 7. These 7s are everywhere. We're in this massive portal. The other thing that I've been hearing come up before we go off is that we've jumped a massive timeline. I heard this 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times. 3 times now, I think. I haven't listened to a bunch of videos yet this morning. It's not like I'm seeking this information out. It's coming up in my sacred algorithm that I've heard that we did a massive timeline jump, that we jumped into another timeline because another timeline, there was catastrophic destruction. And I think we were collapsed, because CERN shutting down. I think we collapsed and dissolved a timeline where psychics or seers saw like a fallout type of an event. I think we all did a massive timeline jump here in the last few days, whether you realize it or not. I was listening to a group meditation on Monday and there was a massive glitch and someone said, did we jump a timeline? Well, that was the first, oh, what did we do? And then the day before, I heard about a massive timeline jump, about us jumping out of a very catastrophic timeline. And then I heard it again, and I heard it like a 3rd time, but it's okay, what? Some of you are aware of that, and some of you might not be aware of that. And that's fine. That's just contractual. Your soul will let you know. But if you're hearing this that we did this collectively massively timeline jump, I feel like that's, because it's around this solar plexus sacral energy, this fire energy, and it's not a bad thing. It was necessary. I feel like we have collapsed some massive, I don't like, again, going back to collapse, we've dissolved a lot of timelines that were created falsely through the nefarious uses of this particular technology. And that's all I'll say on that. Okay? Take what resonates, leave what does not. Remember, there's magic within you and all around you, and you are safe to tap in any fucking time you want to. From the bottom of my heart to yours, I will see you on the next one. Bye.